My name is Dairius Kawewehi. I was born and raised on Oahu, a small little island in Hawaii in the Pacific Ocean. From the time when I was born up until I was 4 years old, I was emotionally, mentally, physically, and sexually abused by my parents. I lived in my first foster home for a few years and met with a lot of verbal and physical abuse by my foster parents in that home. I was about 9 or 10 years old, entering about my third elementary school. This is my fourth foster home, and I went through a lot of mental depression. Ended up wanting to take my life several times. There was a pretty big shift in fifth grade where I kind of learned to just start taking life back in my own hands. I ended up moving in sixth grade to live in what would be my final home. Eventually got adopted in seventh grade, and during high school made the decision to join the military. Got a Navy ROTC scholarship to study mechanical engineering at Purdue University. Graduated commission from college and been in the Navy for about 6 years. One of the key lessons I learned, really my therapist kind of helped walk me through this phase, through middle school and high school, was you are not to blame, right? So there's a lot of tragic and moments that happen to you, a lot of trauma that you're probably going through. Your world might be spiraling into chaos, and a lot of the times, what we do of children and trauma is to take the blame on ourselves, and we find any and every reason to kind of blame ourselves for everything that's happening, right? Every single time I was getting beaten by my parents, I took that upon myself to think in what did I do, what did I say to deserve this beating, right? I never really projected it onto them of like, why are they like this? I always interpreted it as, what did I do wrong and what could I do better? So that carried with me for years. Every single time I got kicked out of a home, I kind of found reasons of why to kind of bring that upon myself. And so I would continuously bottle these emotions within myself and kind of harbor this blame and guilt and feel that everything was kind of my fault. Like this trauma I deserved. Like I was brought on this earth to receive this pain and trauma. And so it took a long time for me to kind of learn how to break away from that mentality. Getting adopted when I was in sixth grade, that's where I finally kind of opened up to my therapist and wanted to go down that path of healing. And that was one of the first mindsets he wanted to help me overcome, was the fact that, you have to accept, unfortunately, the trauma that happened to you. And you realize that at the end of the day, that is not your fault, right? This happened to you. It is what it is. You can't change it, but you can change how you react to it. Right? You can change in the ways that you look at it, and you can change in how you're able to heal and move forward. And so once I was able to slowly work towards that and eventually overcome it, then my whole world became so different. Once I was able to lift that burden off myself and realize like, hey, this is not my fault. This happened to me. I can't really change how those people are acting towards me, but I can change how I'm reacting towards them and pivot and shift to a different direction and kind of take my life where I want it to go and not be identified by the trauma that was placed on me unnecessarily. I used to do a lot of destructive self-harm, and in many of those cases ended up attempting to take my life several times. And it was in the last time that I had attempted to take my life, the attempt failed. I collapsed to the ground. And what scared me was that my initial thought is, why am I still on this earth, right? Why am I alive? Why do I exist? Who wants me, right? My life is meaningless. It's worthless. There's no reason for me to be here. And so it scared me that was my initial thoughts, right? I had at first no regret for the actions I was about to take, my own life. And it was in that moment, for some reason, I thought of my older brother. I have a birth brother who would be a 1 year older than me, but he had passed away when I was in high school. My birth brother was born paralyzed from the neck down, right? He couldn't speak. He couldn't eat on his own. He couldn't walk or anything. The last time I had seen him, I was, in our parents' home, our birth parents' home. I just thought of the fact that here I am about to take my own life. when I'm capable of doing things that he can't, right? He can never feel what it's like to walk outside on the beach and feel the waves and the sand beneath his toes, right? He can never eat normal food like I do. He can never go and speak his mind to his friends and his family, but I still could. Despite the pain and trauma that I went through, I could still live a genuinely normal life, right? A normal child's life, and eventually become an adult and kind of have that path before me, but he couldn't. And that really got to me in the fact that here I am about to throw away my capably good life, that he couldn't. And so in that moment, to me, I realized how fleeting life can be and how precious it is, and that we should not take life for granted. That was the day where I wanted to dedicate the life that I have, to live the life that my own brother couldn't. And that's really what steered me to change the trajectory of my life. Eventually just realized that it is my life at the end of the day, and if I have my own goals and aspirations, that I should be able to go after that.